experience. So after that, venting out the past pain, she realizes that the present circumstances has nothing to do with the past. So she's ready to let go her pain. And he also talks about people who have undergone pain or pain bodies. When they let go their pain, that energy, that aura, that suffering, the residual pain they leave behind them starts lingering around, and it can vibrate into someone else. It can pass on to someone else. So when the writer goes into a restaurant after this intervention, he carries with him, unknown to him, the pain body, residual energy with him, and it clings on to another person, one of the person who had come there, and that person, out of no reason, like he just starts screaming and shouting and fighting with people, and the writer realizes that he had brought in that pain with him, unknown to him. So when there is a pain body and when it is leaving us, it can actually cling on to someone else. So he talks about that. That is all very intense. Like when you read it, no, those lines, it's very intense. So then he talks about the triggers. Certain things, can trigger the pain body. The memories of it can bring it back. So we should be beware of certain triggers so that it doesn't have that sort of intense effect on us. And when we are coming out of the pain body, that is itself acknowledging it is how we come out of it, and we reach the point of being coming into the presence. Yeah. And yesterday, everyone in the discussion, most people spoke about their experience, and Richa gave her experience. Shilpa also gave a very profound experience. It was very good. We should go through the reading. I'm sorry, the recording. That will be very helpful.
Yeah, yeah, I did. Thank you, James.
And
Also,
can
Deepaji,
we
I have logged in as
start?
a host. I have
Yeah,
started
yeah,
the recording. Yeah.
yeah. So who's reading? Please put your name and start reading. In fact, has anyone put the name?
Suman,
Sunita?
Suman, Suman has it.
Suman. Yeah. Please, Suman, please go ahead. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, it's
I won't be able to see the time. So you have to see the time, someone. Suman, would you like to go ahead and start the reading today?
all right. I'll do it. Suman has got it. Right? Finding out who you really are. Notice movie, know thyself. These words were inscribed above the entrance to the temple of Apollo at Delphi, site of the sacred order. In ancient Greece, people would visit the orpheus hoping to find out what destiny had in store for them, or what course of action to take in a particular situation. It is likely that most visitors read those words as they entered the building without realizing that they pointed to a deeper truth than anything the oracle could possibly tell them. They may not have realized either that no matter how great a revelation or how accurate the information they received, it would ultimately prove to be of no avail, would not save them from further unhappiness and self created suffering if they fail to find the truth that is concealed in that injunction. Know thyself. What those words imply is this: before you ask any other question, first ask the most fundamental question of your life. Who am I? Unconscious people, and many remain unconscious, trapped in their egos throughout their lives, will quit tell you who they are, their name, their occupation, their personal history, the shape or state of their body, and whatever else they identify with. Others may appear to be more evolved because they think of themselves
ड्राइंग
as
रूम
an
में पड़ा.
immortal soul or living spirit. But do they really know themselves? Or have they just added some spiritual sounding concepts to the content of their life? Knowing yourself goes far deeper than the adoption of a set of ideas or beliefs. Spiritual ideas and beliefs may at best be helpful pointers, but in themselves, they rarely have the power to dislodge the more firmly established core concepts of who you think you are, which are part of the conditioning of the human mind. Knowing yourself deeply has nothing to do with whatever ideas are floating around in your mind. Knowing yourself is to be rooted in being instead of lost in knowing who you think you are. Your sense of who you are determines what you perceive as your needs and what matters to you in life. And whatever matters to you will have the power to upset and disturb you. You can use this as a criteria to find out how deeply you know yourself. What matters to you is not necessarily what you say you believe, but what your actions and reactions reveal as important and serious belief. So you may want to ask yourself the question, what are the things that upset and disturb you? If small things have the power to disturb you, then who you think you are is exactly that, small. That will be your unconscious mind. What are the small things? Ultimately, all things are small things because all things are transient. You might say, I know I am an immortal spirit, or I am tired of this mad world, and peace is your only. Until the day you, the stock market has gone, the deal with what, the car has been stolen, your mother-in-law has arrived, the trip is cancelled, the contract has been broken, your partner has left, they demand more money, they say it's your fault. Suddenly, there is a surge of anger, of anxiety. A harshness comes into your voice. I can't take any more of this. You accuse and blame, attack, defend, or justify yourself. And it's all happening on autopilot. Something is obviously much more important to you now than the inner peace that a moment ago you said was all you wanted. And you're not an immortal soul anymore either. The deal, the money, the contract, the loss or threat of loss are more important. To whom? To the immortal spirits that you said you are? No, to me, the small me that seeks security or fulfillment in things that are transient and gets anxious and angry because it fails to find it. Well, at least now you know who you really think you are. If peace is really what you want, then you will choose peace. If peace matters to you more than anything else, and if you truly know yourself to be spirit rather than a little me, you would remain non reactive and absolutely alert when confronted with challenging people or situations. You would immediately accept the situation and thus become one with it rather than separate yourself. Then out of your alertness would come a response. Who you are, consciousness, not who you think you are, a small man would be responded. It would be powerful and effective and would make no person or situation into be an enemy. The world always makes sure that you cannot fool yourself for long about who you really think you are by showing you what truly matters to you, how you react to people and situations, especially when challenges arise, is the best indicator of how deeply you know yourself. I'm going to read that again. How, could you spell it? How you react to people and situations, especially when challenges arise, is the best indicator of how deeply you know yourself. The more limited, the more narrowly egoic the view of yourself, the more you will see, focus on, and react to the egoic limitations. Egoic limitation, the unconsciousness in others, their faults, or what you perceive as their fault, become to you their identity. This means you will see only the ego. This means you will see only the ego in them and thus strengthen the ego in yourself. Instead of looking through the ego in others, you are looking at the ego. Who is looking at the ego? The ego in you. Very unconscious people experience their own ego through its reflection in others. When you realize that what you react to in others is also in you, and sometimes only in you, you begin to become aware of your own ego. At that stage, you may also realize that you were doing to others what you thought others were doing to you. You cease seeing yourself as a victim. You are not the ego. So when you become aware of the ego in you, it does not mean you know you are. It means you know who you are not. But it is through knowing who you are not that the greatest obstacle to truly knowing yourself is removed. Nobody can tell you who you are. It would just be another concept. So it would not change you. Who you are requires no belief. In fact, every belief is an obstacle. It does not even require your realization. Since you already are who you are. But without realization, who you are does not shine forth into this world. It remains in an unmanifested, in the unmanifested, which is, of course, your true home. You are then like an apparently poor person who does not know he has a bank account with $100 million in it. And so his wealth remains an unexpressed potential. That was very deep. I didn't understand most of it. Okay. Abundance. Who you think you are is also intimately connected with who you see yourself treated by others. How you see yourself treated by others. Many people complain that others do not treat them well enough. I don't get any respect, attention, recognition, acknowledgement, they say. I'm being taken for granted. When people are kind, they suspect hidden motive. Others want to manipulate me, take advantage of me. Nobody loves me. Who they think they are is this: I am a needy little man who needs, whose needs are not being met. This basic misperception of who they are creates dysfunction in all the relationships. They believe they have nothing to give and that the world or other people are withholding from them what they need. The entire reality is based on an illusionary sense of who they are. Right. It sabotages situations, mars all relationships. If the thought of lack, whether it be money, recognition, or love, has become part of who you think you are, you will always experience it. Rather than acknowledge the good that is already in your life, all you see is love. Acknowledging the good that is already in your life is the foundation of all abundance. The fact is, whatever you think the world is withholding from you, you are withholding from it. You are withholding it because deep down you think you are small and that you have nothing to do. Try this for a couple of weeks and see how it changes your life. Whatever you think people are withholding from you, praise, appreciation, assistance, loving care, and so on, give it to them. You don't have it, just act as if you have it, and it will come. Then, soon after you start giving, you will start to see. You cannot receive what you don't give. Outflow determines in whatever you think the world is upholding for you, you already have, but unless you allow it to flow out, you won't even know what you have. This includes abundance, the law that outflow determines inflow, is expressed by Jesus in this powerful image. Give and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your life. The source of all abundance is not outside you. It is part of who you are. However, start by acknowledging and recognizing abundance without. I think it would be the thing. See the fullness of life all around you, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the display of magnificent flowers outside at your shop, biting into a succulent food, or getting soaked in an abundance of water falling from the sky. The fullness of life is there at every step. The acknowledgement that abundance, the acknowledgement of that abundance that is all around you awakens the dormant abundance within. Then let it flow out. When you smile at a stranger, there is always a minute, minute outflow of energy. You become a giver. Ask yourself, what can I be here? How can I be of service to this person, this situation? You don't need to own anything to feel abundant. Although, if you feel abundant consistently, things will almost certainly come. Abundance comes only to those who already have. It sounds almost unfair, but of course it is. It is a universal law. Both abundance and scarcity are inner states that manifest as your reality. Jesus puts it like this: For to the one who has, more will be given, and from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken. Knowing yourself and knowing about yourself. You may not want to know yourself because you are afraid of what you may find out. Many people have a secret fear that they are bad. But nothing you can find out about yourself is you. Nothing you can know about you is you. While some people do not want to know who they are because of fear, others have an insatiable curiosity about themselves and want to find out more than you. You may be so fascinated with yourself to spend years in psychoanalysis, delve into every aspect of your child, uncover secret fears and desires, and find layers upon layers of complexity in the makeup of your personality and thought. After 10 years, therapists may get tired of you and your story and tell you that your analysis is not complete. Perhaps he sends you away with a 5,000 page dossier. This is all about you. This is who you are. As you carry the heavy file home, the initial satisfaction of at last knowing yourself gives you pity, your feeling of incompleteness, and a loving suspicion that there must be more to who you are than this. And indeed there is more, not perhaps in quantitative terms of more facts, but in the qualitative dimension of things. There is nothing wrong with psychoanalysis or finding out about your past as long as you don't confuse knowing about yourself with knowing yourself. The 5,000 page dossier is about yourself, the content of your mind, which is conditioned from that. Whatever you learn through psychoanalysis or self observation is about you. It is not you. It is content, not a sin. Going beyond ego is stepping out of intent. Knowing yourself is being yourself. And being yourself is ceasing to identify with people. Most people define themselves through the content of their lives. Whatever you perceive, experience, do, think, or feel is content. Content is what absorbs most people's attention and time, and it is what they identify. When you think or say, my life, you're not referring to the life that you are, but the life that you have or seem to have. You are referring to content, your age, health, relationship, finances, work, and living situation, as well as your mental emotional state, the inner and outer circumstances of your life, your past, and your future all belong to the realm of intent. So do events, that is to say, anything that happens. What is there other than content? That it enables the content to be the inner space of consciousness. Does anyone else want to take this there?
Yes, I may. I may start.
Okay.
It is from here. What is negative emotion or the voice of the ego? From where I have to read. Okay, I am starting from the voice.
Has Mansi come?
Don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, in that case, I'll continue.
I am continuing, but where to? Yeah, the screen is
One second.
yes.
I lost the line. Yeah, from here.
Okay, the duck
The
with a human mind.
yeah,
Okay,
that's
okay.
right, Sunita. Sunita, are we in the right place? Even I seem to have lost a bit.
Yeah, the voice of the ego, the next paragraph.
Okay, okay.
The emotions and the ego. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Yeah. Emotions and the ego. The ego is not only the unobserved mind, the voice in the head, which pretends to be you, but also the unobserved emotions that are the body's reaction to what the voice in the head is saying. We have already seen what kind of thinking the egoic voice engages in most of the time and the dysfunction inherent in the structure of its thought processes, regardless of content. This dysfunctional thinking is what the body reacts to with negative emotion. The voice in the head tells a story that the body believes in and reacts to. Those reactions are the emotions. The emotions, in turn, feed energy back to the thoughts that created the emotion in the first place. This is the vicious circle between unexamined thoughts and emotions, giving rise to emotional thinking and emotional story making. The emotional component of ego differs from person to person. In some egos, it is greater than in others. Thoughts that trigger emotional responses in the body may sometimes come so fast that before the mind has had time to voice them, the body has already responded with an emotion, and the emotion has turned into a reaction. Those thoughts exist at a pre-verbal stage and could be called unspoken, unconscious assumptions. They have their origin in a person's past conditioning, usually from early childhood. People cannot be trusted would be an example of such an unconscious assumption in a person whose primordial relationships, that is to say, with parents, raw siblings, were not supportive and did not inspire trust. Here are a few more common unconscious assumptions. Nobody respects and appreciates me. I need to fight to survive. There is never enough money. Life
Sorry to
always,
interrupt.
yeah, yeah,
We have to start from chaos.
okay. Uh,
Could you scroll up?
it is before emotions and the ego.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Scroll up, Deepa.
I have to scroll up. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
We
I'm
left a
sorry,
section.
but yeah, yeah.
From here, the birth of the
No,
emotion,
no, no, before that.
still further. This is chapter 5. Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
Okay, one
that's
second.
why we were not getting to the
yeah,
context
Yeah,
where
that's
we
what
were
even I
reading.
was feeling somewhat. We have come halfway through chapter 7.
yeah. I'll
Yeah,
tell you the
Yeah,
heading was chaos and higher order.
yeah.
That is where you need to be.
Uh,
Stop.
what is the page number?
118.
What would be the page number? I'm sorry.
118. 118.
100 and okay, we have come now. Chaos and the higher order. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was Suman,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah.
have to.
Chaos and higher order, right? Chaos and higher order. When you know yourself only through content, you will also think you know what is good or bad for you. You differentiate between events that are good for me and those that are bad. This is a fragmented perception of the wholeness of life in which everything is interconnected, in which every event has its necessary place and function within the totality. The totality, however, is more than the surface appearance of things. more than the sum total of its parts, more than whatever your life or the world contains. Behind the sometimes seemingly random or even chaotic succession of events in our lives as well as in the world lies concealed the unfolding of a higher order and purpose. This is beautifully expressed in the Zen saying, the snow falls, each flake in its appropriate place. We can never understand this higher order through thinking about it because whatever we think about its content, whereas the higher order emanates from the formless realm of consciousness, from universal intelligence, but we can glimpse it and more than that, align ourselves with it, which means to be conscious participants in the unfolding of that higher purpose. When we go into a forest that has not been interfered with by man, our thinking mind will see only disorder and chaos all around us. It won't even be able to differentiate between life good and death bad anymore, since everywhere new life grows out of rotting and decaying matter. Only if we are only if we are still enough inside and the noise of thinking subsides can we become aware that there is a hidden harmony here, a sacredness, a higher order in which everything has its perfect place and could not be other than what it is and the way it is. The mind is comfortable in a landscaped park because it has been planned through thought. It has not grown organically. There is an order here that the mind can understand. In the forest, there is an incomprehensible order that to the mind looks like chaos. It is beyond the mental categories of good and bad. You cannot understand it through thought, but you can sense it when you let go of thought, become still and alert, and don't try to understand or explain. Only then can you be aware of the sacredness of the forest. As soon as you sense that hidden harmony, that sacredness, you realize you are not separate from it. And when you realize that, you become a conscious participant in it. In this way, nature can help you become realigned with the wholeness of life. Next is good and bad. At some point in their lives, most people become aware that there is not only birth, growth, success, good health, pleasure, and winning, but also loss, failure, sickness, old age, decay, pain, and death. Conventionally, these are labeled good and bad, order and disorder. The meaning of people's lives is usually associated with what they term the good, but the good is continually threatened by collapse, breakdown, disorder, threatened by meaningless, and the bad when explanations fail and life ceases to make sense. Sooner or later, disorder will erupt into everyone's life, no matter how many insurance policies he or she has. It may come in the form of loss or accident, sickness, disability, old age, death. However, the eruption of disorder into a person's life and the resultant collapse of a mentally defined meaning can become the opening into a higher order. The wisdom of this world is folly with God, says the Bible. What is the wisdom of this world? The movement of thought and meaning that is defined exclusively by thought. Thinking isolates a situation or event and calls it good or bad, as if it had a separate existence. Through excessive reliance on thinking, reality becomes fragmented. This fragmentation is an illusion. Scroll down, please. One line remained. Yeah. The fragmentation is an illusion but it seems very real while you are trapped in it. And yet, the universe is an indivisible whole in which all things are interconnected, in which nothing exists in isolation. The deeper interconnectedness of all things and events implies that the mental labels of good and bad are ultimately illusory. They always imply a limited perspective and so are true only relatively and temporarily. This is illustrated in the story of a wise man who won an expensive car in a lottery. His family and friends were happy for him and came to celebrate. Isn't it great? They said, "You are so lucky." The man smiled and said, maybe for a few weeks he enjoyed driving the car. Then one day, a drunken driver crashed into his new car at an intersection and he ended up in the hospital with multiple injuries. His family and friends came to see him and said, "That was really unfortunate." Again, the man smiled and said, maybe, while he was still in the hospital. One night, there was a landslide and his house fell into the sea. Again, his friends came the next day and said, "Were not you lucky to have been here in hospital?" Again, he said, maybe. The wise man's maybe signifies a refusal to judge anything that happens. Instead of judging what is, he accepts it and so enters into conscious alignment with the higher order. He knows that often it is impossible for the mind to understand what place or purpose a seemingly random event has in the tapestry of the whole. But there are no random events, nor are there events or things that exist by and for themselves in isolation. The atoms that make up your body were once forged into inside stars, and the causes of even the smallest event are virtually infinite and connected with the whole in the incomprehensible ways. If you wanted to trace back the cause of any event, you would have to go back all the way to the beginning of creation. The cosmos is not chaotic. The very word cosmos means order, but this is not an order of the human mind can ever comprehend, although it can sometimes glimpse it. Not minding what happens. J. Krishnamurti, the great Indian philosopher and spiritual teacher, spoke and traveled almost continuously all over the world for more than 50 years, attempting to convey through words, which are content, that which is beyond words, beyond content. At one of his talks in the later part of his life, he surprised his audience by asking, "Do you want to know my secret?" Everyone became alert. Many people in the audience had been coming to listen to him for 20 or 30 years and still failed to grasp the essence of his teaching. Finally, after all these years, the master would give them the key to understanding. "This is my secret," he said. "I don't mind what happens." He did not elaborate, and so I suspect most of his audience were even more perplexed than before. The implications of this simple statement, however, are profound. When I don't mind what happens, what does this imply? It implies that internally I am in alignment with what happens. What happens, of course, refers to the suchness of this moment, which always already is at as it is. It refers to content, the form that this moment, the only moment there ever is, takes. To be in alignment with what it means to be in relationship of inner non-resistance with what happens. It means not to label it mentally as good or bad, but to let it be. Does this mean you can no longer take action to bring about change in your life? On the contrary, When the basis for your actions is inner alignment with the present moment, your actions become empowered by the intelligence of life itself. Is that so? The Zen master Hakuin lived in a town in Japan. He was held in high regard, and many people came to him for spiritual teaching. Then it happened that the teenager daughter of his next door neighbor became pregnant. When being questioned by her angry and scolding parents as to the identity of the father, she finally told them that he was Hakuin, the Zen master. In great anger, the parents rushed over to Hakuin and told him, with much shouting and accusing, that their daughter had confessed that he was the father. All the replied was, "Is that so?" News of the scandal spread throughout the town and beyond. The master lost his reputation. This did not trouble him. Nobody came to see him anymore. He remained unmoved. When the child was born, the parents brought the baby to Hakuin. "You are the father, so you look after him." The master took loving care of the child. A year later, the mother remorsefully confessed to her parents that the real father of the child was the young man who worked at the butcher shop. In great distress, they went to see Hakuin to apologize and ask for forgiveness. "We are really sorry. We have come to take the baby back. Our daughter confessed that you are not the father. Is that so?" is all he would make as he handed the baby over to them. The master responds to falsehood and truth, bad news and good news in exactly the same way. Is that so? He allows the form of the moment, good or bad, to be as it is, and so does not become a participant in human drama. To him, there is only this moment, and this moment is as it is. Events are not personalized. He is nobody's victim. He is so completely at one with what happens that what happens has no power over him anymore. Only if you resist what happens are you at the mercy of what happens, and the world will determine your happiness and unhappiness. The baby is looked after with loving care. Bad turns into good through the power of non resistance. Always responding to what the present moment requires, he lets go of the baby when it is time to do so. Imagine briefly how the ego would have reacted during the various stages of the unfolding of these events. Anybody wants to read?
Yeah,
Or should
what's
I
the
go?
time?
It is 8
Yeah,
o'clock.
we are already, it is 8.
Yeah,
Uh, now we can open up for discussion maybe for 10-15 minutes.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll stop here for the day. Would anyone like to share? Open up for the discussion. Today we have had two readers, no? Sunita and Suman. Would you like to share?
Yes, these two stories were very deep. That of the Zen master, that how his reaction was. Uh, the daughter expressed that Hakuin was the father. Whatever the situation was there, he accepted it as it is. So that was really very profound message for us. Otherwise, if any other person would have been there, the reaction could have been disastrous.
Yes, very well said. Very profound stories.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, the knowing yourself was uh, it made me think about what how critical it is, and I got confused also in one of the paras when we were reading to the intensity of the information that is available to you when you are uh, actually trying to get an understanding of who you really are. So it is all the labels that we put on ourselves, but also how deep should we go? What does knowing yourself mean? So that was very confusing for me, and I really had to look back and read it again to decipher the true meaning of what was being said.
Yeah, even I found certain parts, we have to reread, and I went back to chapter 5. That also might have led to some confusion. Mm. So, would anyone else like to add in?
The main crux we are getting is that we have to be mindful and conscious in the present. Consciousness is must if we want to lessen our problems.
Mm. Yes, that's true. That's very true. Mm.
Yeah.
This
And one
book is
thing
very intense. Yeah, please go
And
ahead.
one thing that I've heard from many other sources is that you act as if you have the abundance and it is going to come to you. You know, first you serve others. Don't think what you can get from them, but just do your bit, be available, uh, provide that service, and then things will fall in place for you. So this is something that has been reiterated from many other sources, all Sadhguru and every spiritual personality always talks about being of service to others. So that was something that has been reiterated. Uh, but it when at least when we are living in our day-to-day lives, it is it's a very difficult and a tall order to actually put it in practice. Once or twice, you know, to live, being there, being present, and living it as in an automated uh, automated cell is something that I find challenging. I do see myself do it maybe a couple of times, but as a uh, response that comes automatically is something that I really need to work on.
Mm.
Two examples struck me. That was one was of the snowfall. That how the snowfall takes its place on the earth, and one another was of forest life. That for human intelligence, it may be chaos and disorder, but from the rotten leaves the life is taking place there. It has its own order. If we stop our intelligence, then growth is happening there. How the growth is taking place. They were also very profound examples.
Yes. And the line where he says, stop resisting,
Yeah.
that is also very big. We have this fear, we plan the future, we carry the past ego and the pain, and we are afraid, we are very fearful of what will happen next. But if we let go that resistance and live in the present, and we are doing what has to be done at that moment, and we don't bury ourselves into the past, then things work out. Like the Zen monk, when people accuse him, and he's okay with that, and he just does what has to be done at that moment. He takes charge of the baby and he looks after. And when um, the girl says he's not responsible, he's ready to let go. So he doesn't have any attachment towards anything. or anger or frustration. He's just ready to let go. Similar to the person, the maybe story, when he wins a car, or when he meets with an accident, or when he is recovering, or he loses home. At every moment, he's maybe, and he's dealing only with the present. So that is a very difficult thing to do. Very, very difficult. We keep planning, we keep thinking about the future, keeping the past in context, and we forget the present. So that is a very difficult thing, and we have to process it in the way the writer is encouraging us to do. And J.D. Krishnamurti's secret. The secret is he doesn't, what does he say? He doesn't care about what is happening. He doesn't let himself attach to anything. So, ready to let go and to live in the present. I think that is the essence of that simple, small statement which he gave.
Yeah, very true.
So, that is very difficult. Like the minute we wake up, we are planning, we are thinking, and how to go about it. But if we just go into that flow of the day, we just meditate for a minute, and we exercise, and we just go about things. That is the way to move ahead and to enjoy the basketful of the plentiful, the abundance of happiness and joy which awaits us. But instead, we are more focused on, the worry, the fear of the coming time, based on the past. So that is my take on today's reading. Very profound. Each day, this book, the writer Eckhart Tolle is taking us through a emotional roller coaster ride. Yeah, I think that's what is happening to all of us here who are part of this reading. So, anyone else would like to add in anything more, or shall we close up for the day? Yeah, this is like very different, like what happened to Mansi. So maybe there is something good in this. Instead of worrying about it, let's just go with the flow. Yeah, so shall we wind up for the day?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, please. Yes.
So I'll just take the notes, and we can wind up. Thank you. Thank you for attending and reading. Tomorrow is Friday, right? So
Yes.
let's see. And please bookmark it. Mm, bookmark the place.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank you. Have
great
a
day
great
to all.
day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just stay for a minute. Yeah, Saurabh, I think I've taken the notes.
Perfect. Yeah. I'll end the meeting for all in that case.
Yeah, thank you. Have a
Thank
wonderful day.
you. Same to you.